One. I'm gonna sneeze. Hello. As promised. As promised, I said I'd be here, and I am. It's because I'm good at that stuff like that there. Hey, Kim Taylor, nice to see you. Dee Scanlon. Karen B. Cece. I'm saying hi to people. Julie Verse Beauty, nice to see you. Corey Sanchez. Hello, folks. Hello. Welcome. Oops, just touched the buttons. Yay! So hello folks who are tuning in. For those of you who have never met me, hi, my name is Beth. It's nice to see everybody. It has been a while, yes. So here's the funny thing. This was kind of cool, and I will share it with you because I think it's a good life lesson. And this is the only reason I do this kind of stuff, is because when I learn stuff that has helped me, I want to share it so it will help you. It makes no sense. Why should I keep it to myself? And one of the things I noticed about me was that it was really important for me to get away from social media, but then also be excited to come back. I was on vacation, and I encourage you, when you go on vacation, like get off the social grid for a hot minute and just enjoy yourself. But I did that. It was wonderful, but I am back. And being back is also wonderful because I've been away. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Beth. I am Destination Decluttered. And what I do is I help you when you're stuck with your stuff and clutter. I am a one-on-one decluttering life coach. I work with clients all over the country. It's funny, every time I do that, I look at my own map over here where my things are. Hello, everybody, and it's nice to see you. But what I do here on TikTok, my faves, is I love to do these lives and videos to help you where you're stuck. So here's where I ask you, good morning, everybody. For the next hour from, what even time is it? 8 a.m. Eastern till 9 a.m. Eastern, and then I hop onto a wicked busy day of coaching and consultations. I will be here for you to answer your questions about stuff and clutter and where you're stuck. Now, you may not have a question right away. If you do, pop it in the comments. I'll read it out loud. I'll chat about it, and I'll help you with that. But if you're not, what I would love for you to do, and this is why I call Destination Decluttered, is because if you look behind me, you'll see kind of like these two pins, map pins, almost like you're on a Google map. I use Google Map all the time, right? What I would love for you to just think about is you're here today, right? Today, we are all here. Today is what? Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, whatever, in the morning, wherever you happen to be. Take stock of that, but give yourself an opportunity to say, where do I want to be? What do I want? And not to get overwhelming, because the cool thing is that what I teach about clutter helps you with your life. So I'm often, because of my life coaching training, I tend to interweave those things. But the one thing I would say is, even just starting with a cluttered home, a cluttered life, is say to yourself, what do I want my home to look like? What do I want my home to feel like? You know, so before you even start, like, oh my gosh, I got to clean this kitchen, it's such a mess, yada yada, it's like a road trip. This is what I love, is thinking about stuff like a road trip. Like, okay, where do I want to get to? Why am I even doing this? And what can I do? This is kind of where I come in, I think, is like, what can I do to make this journey more enjoyable? And to me, having the journey more enjoyable is like getting it so you can, like, you want to show up and do it. You know, like, I don't like to go to the gym and it's painful and whatever when I'm like, oh, I have to do this. This is no fun. You know, external accountability, all sorts of things like that help. But what I want to offer is, when you're excited about what's in your future and you're eager to get there and you're doing little things every single day to help you get there, that makes you feel good. That kind of fills up your tank. Now, I use this metaphor of driving a lot. So I want to offer this too. This is another thing that's really helped me, and I want to help you with it, is I have found that when I think of my life as a road trip, when I think of my life as me in a car, behind the wheel of a car, think about it, you guys. Every one of us, hope probably, you know, blanket statements can only do so much. But what I want to say, we've all been in a car, right? We've been behind the wheel. So think about yourself. Close your eyes and think about yourself behind the wheel of a car. Now you have the opportunity to steer in any direction you want in your life. You are the one with your hands on the steering wheel. Nobody else is. You are the one with your foot on the gas so you can speed forward or you can slowly move forward. You can escalate. What do you call that? Accelerate. You can accelerate in a certain, ahead, or you can lay off the gas and maybe you're not going so fast, or you can take your foot off the gas immediately, or you can slam on the brakes, right? You look in your rear view mirror and you see what you've done in the past, what's behind you, what's in the rear view mirror. We use this metaphor all the time, right? But you also can look through your windshield. Look through your windshield like a road trip and think, like, what do I want my life to look and feel like? What do I want my home to look and feel like? Those few just fun things to play with can really help a lot, See, that's what, so Tina is saying, and I totally agree with this. That's why the windshield is so big and the mirror is so small, so you can see the future, right, instead of the past. And it's so true, because I think it's important, and here, trust me, I am a student of history. I was an art history major for decades. I took pictures and wrote about vintage buildings and road trips and things like that. There's something valuable in your history that when you look behind there, you're going to find that's going to help you move forward. So you can't move forward. It's going to be much more difficult to move forward in the direction you want if you don't reflect back and say, notice I said reflect, and that's like a mirror, that's like a background mirror, So just think about those things, those simple metaphors. Life like a road trip. You're here. Where do you want to be? Get excited about it, and let's get there. But then also think of yourself every day. Every day, you have the opportunity to get behind the wheel of your life and drive it in the direction you want. So with that, let's get started, because I see a question from Bethy, and being a Beth myself, I'm like, hey, I feel guilty when I throw something away that is still functioning and in good condition. All right, so Bethy, this is what I want to offer to you. Really simple. Are there places you could donate that instead of throwing it in the trash? Couple of ideas for donating. So it's funny when you kind of put on like your decluttering glasses, and you may not realize how many opportunities there are in your community to give items that are still usable to people who need them. We have a few name brand, thrift stores in our area. We also have some local ones. We also have, local charities. You could have a garage sale. Literally, I don't know where you live, but my husband and I have many, many, many times put a table out, put a free sign out there, put stuff on it, and people take it, right? So I don't want to say you should feel guilty, but you know what? I think what you're feeling is this is still valuable. So look for an opportunity. Now that you think of that, say, okay, the next time I have something that no longer serves me, but that I don't need anymore, like a rice cooker or whatever it happens to be, where can I give it to somebody? I mean, not even physically, you could get onto like your Facebook page, your local Facebook page. Like, for example, like Tina's asking me, where am I located? I'm located in Pennsylvania. So we have a local, your name here, your town here, Facebook page. And you could say, hey, does anybody want this fill in the blank thing? And if somebody says yes, you say, okay, I'll leave it out on my stoop, or, I'll meet you somewhere, Okay, Haley Huntress says, I don't know how to organize it all. I don't know where to get good shelving, okay? Here's what I want to offer Haley and to everybody is, here's another tip. This is another one coming to my coaching toolkit, because I do one-on-one coaching, and this is a lot of what I talk to people about individually on Zoom when I coach. I will share this stuff with you too. I would love all of you to realize that there are, when I coach, I think of 3 levels, 3 layers of clutter. You've got surface clutter, stored clutter, and sentimental clutter. And the one I want to offer is, when you're saying organize it all, that is probably stuff, and because you mentioned shelving. Shelving is a storage method. So this is stored clutter. And what I would love for you to think of, Haley, is, and everybody, and maybe you've already done this, I don't know, because on these TikTok lives, I can only do so much, which reminds me, after this question, I'm going to give you a little quick idea before I forget, because my mind goes all over the place, a little bit of ADHD, but in a good way, is before you go out and buy a solution to your clutter, like an object, like, things like that, before you even do that, I want you to use this tool up here, which is your brain, because in order to properly store things, my way of doing it is, you need to figure out what you actually really want to and need to keep. You may not need as great a storage solution as you need if you whittle down the amount of things. Now, I'm not saying you don't need everything, but what I like to say about stored clutter is it's good to sort it before you store it. I usually say you have to, but that sounds kind of like you got to do this, but it's good to sort it before you store it. And then really see how many shelves you need. The neat thing is, honestly, is that there's stuff you can buy online. I literally go to, like, we're lucky enough to have like Target and IKEA near us, and so I've used that. Like this bookshelf behind me is IKEA, but they also, I think, ship. So you could do that. And you're welcome. Of course, I love to answer these questions. So really quick before I get to you, T-Grow8, I'm gonna answer your question in a sec. But I just remembered this too because I was saying I just got back from vacation. It's funny. There's my mouse. I have a computer screen here. That I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm trying to multitask. But what I want to offer is, so tonight, so I do a couple of things. I do TikTok lives, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Today I'm here for an hour on TikTok. Friday I'll be starting on TikTok, going to my other socials, so I'll be there. What I want to offer is I also have an email mailing list if you're interested in it. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this right now, thank you, Haley. The reason I'm mentioning this right now is because tonight, I will say this, I am completely transparent about pretty much everything I do, because why not, is the reason I have an email mailing list is because it's one step closer to having a connection with you, and possibly if you're interested in doing coaching, one of the things you might be like is I don't know, what would coaching be like in on Zoom, right? So I do a once a month group Zoom call just with the people on my email mailing list. That is kind of a neat thing that I make time for in my schedule, and hopefully you do too. And it helps you get a feel for what it would be like to get some one-on-one coaching. And frankly, also, even if you think coaching isn't going to be for you, is to ask a question in a little bit more of a nuanced way. So you can, instead of typing it here and me inferring a lot, I can ask some questions. We can have a little bit back and forth, and you can get an answer to your questions, right? And I mention that because tonight, May 17th, where's my calendar? I got to get resettled, right? So I offer this because if you sign up on my email mailing list today, you still have time to get the Zoom invite sent to you. I'll send it in the afternoon. If not, if you sign up tomorrow, no big deal. I'll do one in June. Sorry, my brain is still a little bit fuzzy because we just got home. But I'm just offering that as another thing, okay? So I do TikTok Live, Facebook, Instagram. I do the Facebook and everything because you and I are all on TikTok, right? I love it. The other thing, too, is when I do TikTok Lives, if you follow my page, I have learned from the folks who do follow my page that you get notified when I go live, and I do go live multiple times per week. I enjoy it. I do. At this moment, I enjoy it. Now, I haven't been around a lot in the past couple weeks. Look at me looking in my rearview mirror because I was traveling, and it was really important for me to, just step away and see and trust that when I came back, you guys would be here, right? But what I want to offer, too, is when I look through my windshield, I look through the next at least 3, first week of June, I'll be here. So you want to get notified when I'm live, what do you call it? Follow my TikTok page. The other thing too about that, there was something else somebody mentioned about that. Whatever. Anyhow, back to questions. I have just become an empty nester of 3 kids. They left all their stuff they don't want here. Well, Tigro, see, this is where I can be a bit sassy because I don't have kids. I'm an auntie, but I will be your sassy mom co-pilot, right? I'm your co-pilot. And what I want to say is, aren't they lucky that they have a cool mom, or actually I don't know, a cool person in their life that allowed them to leave all their stuff they don't want there. Now, I don't know the names, I don't have how their situations or their ages or what their things are, but what I want to offer is, if you don't want their stuff in your house, you can, with love, tell them to get it out of there. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be, but you know what? Your home, if you want your home to look and feel like I want my home with just my stuff in it and not my kid's house, that is totally legitimate, and there's no reason why you should do that. You shouldn't have that. I really feel like, honestly, taking responsibility for your own stuff, both metaphorically and physically in the cluttering world, that is a life skill. And the sooner you teach your kids that, and I do this with I have coaching clients who have little kids, and we're already talking about getting them used to, instead of dropping your clothes on the floor, is like, when you get into your pajamas, you get out of your clothes, then you put them in a hamper. Learning how to deal with your stuff is a life lesson. It is a life skill. And so even if your kids are adults now, you can start teaching them that, So get curious as to why you allowed that. And if you're cool with that, also it doesn't have to be forever. It can be just a time frame, but get them to start taking responsibility for their stuff. They may not like it because, whatever, but it is a good life lesson. Okay. There we go. Thank you for the gifts and the badges and stuff like that. German Made 95. I had wonderful travels. Thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, one of the things I love to do in this chapter of my life, I like to say, is I love to travel. I've loved to travel for years, and for many years I wrote about my travels. And I think that's why I love it when I consciously say, I am not going to post on social from my travels, because I used to do it so much that it took away from it. Now, not to say that I won't, if I'm inspired, to show up and do a TikTok live if I'm away, but like sometimes you're away and you just want to be away. And I want to offer that to you guys too. It's just when you get away, it makes it fun to come back, Oh, Ashley, I'm so glad I've encouraged you. You're welcome. This is why I do it. I show up. I know what it's like. You guys, I know what it's like to not grow up in an encouraging environment, particularly. I know what it's like to grow up in a cluttered environment. I know what it's like to be cluttered. I mean, it's so funny because you see behind me this bright, cheery room with everything neat as a pin. It wasn't always like this, but I learned skills and I figured shit out through what I have done in my decades of life that has gotten me to this point. And now I'm at this point where I'm like, holy Moses, I love my life. I love how my life looks and feels. I love how my home looks and feels. And I now get so excited to share this with people. Victoria, I love that you're sorting kids' clothes this morning. See, that's cool. Oh, clutter my mind. It makes me nervous. Oh, you know what? Uncluttering your mind can be scary sounding. It is so fucking worth it. And pardon my F-bomb, and I will say this. I don't often drop a potty mouth word, but if I do and it offends you, I may not be the right coach for you. But what I want to offer, Janet Thomas, is there is such power in turning around. This is okay. This is a car metaphor, right? Here, this maybe even, and then Jillian, I'll get to toys, okay? I promise. There you go. You gave me permission to be that mom. Be that mom, and you do it with love, T-Row, okay? But decluttering your mind, okay? Everybody, think about you in your car, right? This is the metaphor I love to work with. You're in the driver's seat, right? You are influenced by passengers in your metaphorical car. You have what I call backseat drivers, and those are the thoughts you have that are unhelpful, that get you where you don't want to go. They get you, they get you nervous. They make you feel a certain thing. They're like, oh no, don't do that. That's going to be scary. Avoid it. It's going to be scary. Don't do it. Backseat drivers equals fear, but you have a co-pilot. Now, I always crack up because I think of those like little license plates that say God is my co-pilot. You can name your co-pilot anything you want. You could call it Beth. You could call it, your best friend. You could call it road trip. You could call it the universe, God, whatever. But you also have a voice inside you, a thought inside you that says, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can be that mom with love and tell your kids, hey, you know what? You got to get your stuff out of here, okay? You got to say, it's going to be, it may feel scary to declutter your mind, but it's going to be not as bad as you think, and it's going to be so worth it. So just think of the fact that when you have a thought that is a fear-based thought that makes you feel kind of a fear, kind of a cringy, clingy thing, those are the kind of thoughts that stop you from growing, stop you from changing your life into the one you want it. But you also can easily, because thoughts, you guys, this is crazy for me to realize, and I'm so glad I did because it's such a game changer. Thoughts are just sentences in your brain that you can choose to believe or not. Boom, mic drop, right? If you don't like the thought in your head, I have practiced this. I practice it like a foreign language because it was and is a foreign language from the way my brain works, to say if I think of something that's like an unhelpful, cringy thought, what's the opposite of that? What's a helpful, loving, giving thought? Like when I first came onto TikTok Live, I was like, hey, everybody, whatever, this is weird. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep on showing up. and it wasn't that bad. I was like, oh, that wasn't as bad. I'm going to show up again. Next thing you know, I get to hang out with all you guys, right? All right, so just think about that. Makes you nervous. So your backseat drivers don't want you to change. Those are the fear thoughts that want you to change, but I want to offer decluttering your mind can be with it. How to do toys. It's so overwhelming. Okay, Jillian Shepherd. So this is an interesting thing. Again, I'm not a mom, but what I have noticed is when you love your children, when people love their children, when people love your children, one of the ways that we express this is we give them something. We give them a gift. We give them a toy. We give them a toy. The kid wants it. We don't want to be that parent who says no, so we give it to them. But at a certain point, it becomes, if it's overwhelming to you, can you imagine how overwhelming it is to a little kid, right? What I want to offer is start your little kids early. Have them say, hey, you know what we do is we go through our toys occasionally, and the ones that we're kind of tired of playing with, we're going to give them to somebody else. Give your kids that idea that life is all about flow. Like you, whatever age we all are right now, we are struggling at a certain point with letting go of things that no longer serve us. That's because we didn't learn this when we were younger, that it was okay to let go of things, to pass them along, and it was all right. Now, I know that for me anyways, it was because I was brought up by people who didn't have a lot of money. Their parents didn't have a lot of money. Their parents grew up in the generation of the, the Great Depression. And so you do have that clingy feeling. A lot of times right now, you guys, this is not the case. If you have a clutter problem, that is an abundance problem. It's not that you don't have too much, it's that you have too much. Not you don't have enough, you have too much, right? So ask your kids, what are the toys they're tired of playing with? They might have some already. Little kids don't necessarily cling on to that stuff immediately. I'm not saying some of it isn't like inherent, but a lot of it is learned to cling on to stuff. So do that. Or maybe even just say you're going to put away stuff for a while. They can play with it later and they're going to forget it. And fewer things in your life can be equally as delightful and not as overwhelming. Okay? And I love this too because I'm seeing there's so many comments here that sometimes I haven't been able to get the question. So thank you very much for the folks who are chiming in and helping people while I'm talking. I appreciate that. Ashley says, I have made more progress in 6 days than I have in 4 years. Good you. And see, here's the wonderful thing. And this is why I just freaking love how I coach. And I mean this by that I don't come to your house. I don't do it yourself. I've done that before. And it's good in the short term, but it's bad in the long term. So I love that there's no way I can do anything in my coaching except to talk to you and encourage you and give you the tools from the toolkit. Again, like if I'm your co-pilot, I'm the person who's next to you in the passenger seat. I can't drive for you. I can't reach over. But what I can do is I can encourage you. I can give you the map. I can read the map along with you while you've got your eyes on the prize. I'm like, all right, now we're going to get to the rough part. Now we're going to get to the rumbly part. Oh, we're veering off course. It's good. Whatever. Here, I've got a tool. Let me show you how to use this, these jumper cables, metaphorical jumper cables or something like that. But the neat thing is, Ashley, and to everybody, I want to say this, is I also love to highlight when you are rocking on with your bad self. And I want to say, Ashley, I love that you have made more progress, that you are the one doing the work. You are showing up for yourself. And I would love to think that that feels really good. So I want to say congratulations for showing up for yourself to do something that's important. I am happy to be here to encourage you. Here, encourage. Here, encourage is different than discourage. Like discourage takes your courage away. I don't want to discourage you. I want to give you that courage back to say you can do this. I want to encourage you by saying the life that you want, the way you want your home to look and feel, you are worthy of it. And you can do the work. And the reason I say that is because it is so much more powerful and feels so much better when you do it yourself instead of somebody doing it for you. And this is what I mean by, this is decluttering versus cleaning. Now, I have no problem when I have the money to get somebody else coming in and dusting off my Venetian blinds and doing that stuff. That to me is cool, but that's totally different from decluttering. Decluttering is decision making about your stuff, saying what's the stuff in my life, is it where it today, and what I've accumulated, decades worth of whatever, is it lighting up my life right now, or is it weighing me down? And does it align with the life that I want to have and look and feel? And if not, I'm going to do something about it. Nobody else can really do that for you. Okay, there we go. What else do we got? I thought I was going to move, and I got rid of over half my stuff. Okay. Oh, yeah. I do that. Pam, the dog lady, the pretending you're going to move, I did that. That's why this room looks like it does, because at a certain point, I knew I didn't want to move, but I kept on saying, like, would that look good in my Palm Springs home? Right? And suddenly I was like, no, that wouldn't look good in my Palm Springs home. But I decided is to make my Pennsylvania home feel like my Palm Springs home. And that really helped. Here's a fun thing too, is if you pretend you're going to move and that helps you whittle down things. Pretend you're moving into your dream house, but your dream house is half the square footage of the house you currently live in. So you can't just bring it all with you. You have to only bring half of it. Now, we're just playing. I love to play when I coach. I love to make it fun, But I want to offer that, see what you would keep. If you were moving to your dream house, whatever style, wherever it would be located, what would come with you, and what would you say, no, I wouldn't bring that with me? Huh? I'm like, as I drink my tea. Or else, yep, so did not learn this. Whatever it's so that's why I'm here, people. Organizing gives me anxiety and it paralyzes me. Then I know the clutter is adding to my anxiety. Oh, Sue Bell 121. Well, that's a crappy feeling, huh? All right, now here's where I would get curious. Is I would ask myself, why does what is it about organizing that makes me anxious? Oh, it makes me anxious. Who was that? Who was it? The Proclaimers? Anybody? I'm sorry. So here's the funny thing about me. You'll get to know me, getting to know you. You'll get to know that I am Gen X. I have a little bit of a little soup con of ADHD, and also I'm a huge music fan. I'm married to a musician, and a pop culture nerd from a certain era. So occasionally I will just start to speak in either like Charlie Brown Christmas quotes or musical references. So it comes off really. Just know that it's part of my charm, okay? It's part of my charm. But what I want to offer Sue and everybody is I use 2 books. Get yourself a spiral bound notebook. I have become such a fan of these, except for like the little nippy, like the little crappy parts when you pull out the things. Get in touch with yourself and write down these things. Figure out what makes you anxious about it. This is what I love about coaching is I can be there with you while you do it and I say hold your hand. You can still write with one hand. I'll hold the other one, so you can still write. And it's metaphorical hand holding, of course. But what about it makes you anxious? Figure that out. Anxious is not a great feeling. You want to feel better when you're decluttering. You're never going to do it, right? And clutter does add to your anxiety. And you deserve to live a life that's not anxious. Notice how, every time you think of something that your life is right now, think of the opposite and put that in your pile of, this is how I want my life to look and feel. I want my home to be look and feel. I don't want to feel anxious in my home. How's that? Okay, KPN Kathy says, you're really helping to start decluttering. I've been slow. Slow and steady wins the race. You determine your pace. You determine how quickly you speed along. You determine if you show up at all behind the wheel of a car. It's your road trip. See, this is the funny thing. I do one-on-one coaching with a number of clients, and everybody's going at their own pace. I can encourage you because I know the shortcuts. If you want to get to decluttered sooner, I am in your life to get you there as quickly as possible in a way that feels right. But I also know that I am not the one with my foot on the gas. You have to do it at a speed that feels right to you. What I'm curious always about people is when you're not getting there quickly, when you're not going there in a pace that feels good to you, is what's holding you back. Oh my gosh, show up for yourself completely, everybody. It's the name of the game. All right, so what do we got? Anxiety because my brain can't wrap around how to organize it, how I can keep it organized. Okay, so I get that. How to organize. This is why I teach this. Okay, this is why I train. This is why I coach. It can be simple. It is, okay, here's the thing. Can you imagine, it's almost like, think about Adventures of Kudo Husky. Think about when you didn't know how to drive a car. I can imagine it would be anxious if somebody said, here, get behind the wheel and drive. Right? I don't know what to do. But you need to get lessons. You need to be taught how to do this. There are certain skills. There are certain skills of decluttering, of staying decluttered. A lot of it is habit and a lot of it is practice. Now, I am able to look in the rearview mirror of my life and see that I kind of fell into certain jobs that I was trained to think in a certain way to get that kind of thing. Like I started, one of my first jobs while I was still in college was I worked for, I don't know if anybody from an age will remember Pier 1 Imports, Wicker and all that. So I learned about fronting and facing and like items together and small to large and all this stuff. It was skills. I didn't know it beforehand. I mean, I will say this, I still had kind of a natural talent for putting like things together color wise and stuff like that. But it was kind of like, I have pictures I took of my house. I should show it someday. Maybe when I do a book, I'll show pictures of what my room looked like when I was in high school and stuff like that. But it is a skill you learn. And once you learn a skill, like driving your car, you have it for the rest of your life. So I get the anxiety if you don't know how to do it. So I suggest learn how. And then also how to keep it organized is habits. It's really simple. It's really simple. It's habits. And it's habits that work for you and your brain and your home. And that's why when I do one-on-one coaching with people, we all are about, let's find the habits that work for you and your house. I also was later in my life, strangely enough, a process engineer. You guys, I didn't even know what it was. But they were like, oh, we thought we were going to downsize and what was that? Like, not fire you, like let you go. And I was like, yes, because I really want to be let go from this job I didn't like. But they said, no, instead, we're going to put you in a job that you have no idea what to do here, but we think you'll be good at it. Now, I was good at it, but I didn't like it, so I left, but I learned some skills before I did, okay? Oh, there you go. One year I did all my Christmas shopping at Pier 1. Where did they all go? They all disappeared. Actually, I think they might still sell things online, but I worked for them for way too long. It was great. It was hysterical. But I learned good stuff there. I try to pull forward. The way I live is I try to pull the good out of the bad. And not that my time at Pier 1 was bad, but I try to pull the good things forward in my life that I've learned. It's kind of like when you, let's say you moved home and you decided what you want to keep with yourself. When you move on from a certain thing, what did I learn that was good that's worth keeping? And what's the crap I want to leave behind? Okay? Grew up with hoarder piles, stress related to the pile. Yeah, we all have. Many of us have histories of people in our lives also simply not knowing, having the skills to deal with their thoughts about their clutter. So I want to offer this to everybody who's anxious. Okay, what I want to offer is, first of all, anxiety. One of the best things to do about anxiety is literally take a few deep breaths. Get some oxygen to your brain all the time. Relax your body. Get your body moving, right? Get yourself involved with getting the anxiety out of there. And what I want to offer is this idea, is when you have a thought about your clutter, it makes you feel a certain way. When you feel a certain way, you do a certain thing. And when you do a certain thing, you get a certain result. Pretty simple. Boom, 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 right? So this is this side. So I want to offer, when you have an unhelpful thought, when, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. You kind of have a clenchy, I don't know what to do. I'm getting anxious, right? When you feel anxious, you're not going to really do anything, right? Or you're going to spin, or it's going to be not fun to be on this side. But what's the opposite of that? I don't know what to do, but I can learn. I can learn what to do, even though I don't know how to do it. Think about driving. Well, I don't know how to drive a car, but yeah, but I can learn. Now, when you say I can learn, I'm no dumb bunny. I can learn. I can learn this. This woman can teach me. I can read books. I can get help. It doesn't have to be me. I'm not doing this as like an infomercial. But if you want to work with me, I do one-on-one coaching. But what I want to say is, if you say to yourself versus I don't know how to do it, how about I can learn? I've learned stuff before. This is not rocket science, just stuff in my house. I can learn. There's a skill behind it, and there's just some stuff I need to learn. Now, how does that feel? When you say I can learn this, it's not difficult. I've learned harder things before. I can do this. I can do this. Even the simple I can do this thought, how does that make you feel? I can do this. A couple of deep breaths in and I can do this. Suddenly, you're not doing, you're saying, I can do something here. I'm not doing anything. You can do one thing. So what I want to offer in that spirit of I can do something is when I coach, I talk about the 3 levels, the order of operations, as it were, about decluttering. And I start with surface clutter. This is going to be the easy peasy way of doing this. Surface clutter is the stuff that is cluttering up your surfaces. So any horizontal surface, from your floor to your table to your desk to your counter to shelves, any horizontal surface, look at the stuff that's on your surfaces. And I bet what it is, just taking a guess, having coached many people on this, is it's going to be stuff that is where it doesn't belong. It's laundry on the floor when it should be in the hamper, or it's laundry on the floor that should be in the washing machine, or it's papers on the counter that should be in the desk, or whatever it is. So you know what to do with your surface clutter. You know what to do with probably 80% of your surface clutter. Okay, so even right now, for the next 25 minutes that I'm on TikTok Live, hi, for anybody who's just joined, my name is Beth. I am Destination Decluttered, because I want you to get to a destination where you're loving your life, looking and feeling like it, and taking a road trip and all that. For the next 25 minutes, if you didn't even look, if you put down your phone, but you could be where you could hear me talking about clutter, and you just started working on your own surface clutter, just think of how much better your space would look in 25 minutes if you just did that, just the surface clutter. Why don't you start it now? Trust me, I don't look that great. I show up, I move my hands around, I point at pins, I talk about road trips, but you're not missing the quality of the content that I give isn't how I look. No. That's why I often show up without makeup and looking like crap doing my morning walks, because it's about the ideas that I'm sharing with you. And you don't need to look at me to hear those ideas. If anything, sometimes people have told me, I record many of these TikTok lives and then I will upload them to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, because people have said to me, I will pop one of those on and then I'll go and declutter, and it helps me, it motivates me, it encourages me to do it. So I want to encourage you right now. Put down your phone or put it on speakerphone or whatever. I don't know what your technology is, but then just, in the one room that you're in right now, give yourself until 9 o'clock Eastern in the morning before I hop off and get right into a day of coaching and consultations. Get into just doing your surface clutter. Now, stored clutter is a little bit different, and sentimental clutter is a different thing anyway. But the habits you get with your surface clutter, it'll make a difference. Okay, there we go. What do we got? There we go. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up with all these things. I'm scrolling. Right. Okay, I think many hesitate to do surface clutter because nowhere to put it. Well, what's funny? This is when you follow the paper trail, and then you get from, if I don't have a place to put my surface clutter, it's because I have a problem with my stored clutter. Okay? I love Socialist Kitten that your dogs are surface clutter, but I bet they're wicked cute surface clutter, huh? I did it. What I want to say is stored clutter, it's good to sort it before you store it. So if you need, excuse me, I said surface, but I meant stored. So stored clutter is the stuff that's in what I call behind doors and drawers. All right. So it's the drawers of your bureau. It's behind your doors or your cabinets in your kitchen. It's your closet doors, right? And I'm pointing to a closet you can't see off camera, but it's a closet. I got 2 closets here, right? What I want to offer for this is look at what you're already storing, and do you even need that stuff? Because at a certain point, and this is where I love to, this is another thing I love it, is I love to strip the drama away, because drama is just a feeling that gets you like, I can't even do this, and I say it kind of joking, yeah, I can't figure out why I need to keep I think I need to keep all these things. Kara McKay, I want to offer, it's worth it figuring it out. Take that next step, sit down with your notebook, sit down in front of a Google Doc, and get those thoughts out of your head so you can listen to them, so you can dissect them. The power in your thoughts is crazy. Your thoughts are going to get you to do some great things and some awful things in your life. And when you realize that that's what's behind, that's like the man behind the curtain, and that you can, when you mind those thoughts for what's really behind stuff, and you see what's really going on, and then you have the power to decide whether you want to believe that or not, game changed, right? So, okay, decluttering clothes. So decluttering clothes. Clothing is a stored clutter, right? Different sizes of clothes, hoping I will be that same again. Adventures of Kudos the Husky, you and me both, probably everybody on the planet. But what I want to offer this, okay, is everybody. when you are decluttering stored clutter, think about who you are and who you want to be, but also give yourself that opportunity to be it, but also make your life easier right now. So with clothing, with decluttering clothing, you have a conversation with anything. You're having a conversation with yourself. Do I want this? Do I wear it now? If I don't wear it now, what do I want to do with it? Now, if I think I might want to fit into it again, I then put it into a pile of, I think I want to fit into these again. And you can create that, what I call categories. One of the things you can use, one of the skills in, can't remember whose name it was because a lot of stuff is going on here, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Please like my page so you get notified when I am live again, which is going to be on Friday, but then also next week and the week after, stuff like that there. But what I want to offer is deciding what you want to keep and what you want to let go of is a skill. Is saying, what is this thing? Is it important to me now, or do I think it's going to be important to me in the future? And then making a decision based on that. That is a skill. So when you say, I don't know how to declutter, decluttering is a decision-making skill. You get really good at decisions that align with the person you are and the person you want to be. So let's say you have a whole bunch of clothes that you used to fit into that you don't fit into anymore. You say to yourself, okay, maybe I want to fit into these. So what you do is you categorize those. Take all those clothes of that size. Somebody up Thread talked about like sorting through kids' clothes. Kids' clothes are really easy because kids grow a lot. Take all the clothes of that certain size. Lovingly put them in a tote, put a piece of painter's tape on there, put today's date, and say size X clothing, and give yourself 6 months to change your body to fit into them, or however long. But give yourself the opportunity to do that. But in the meantime, don't have them literally cluttering up the closet that your current clothes that you wear are in there, okay? Now, what I have found is that two things are going to happen. You are either going to change your habits and change your body so you fit into those clothes, and then voila, you can then flip it and take those clothes that you now fit into and put the ones that you don't fit into, either give them away or put them back, or the time may pass and you say, you know what? I'm not going to fit into these clothes. But I gave myself the opportunity, and maybe it's easier now for me to let go of them because I gave myself a chance to be the person I wanted to become. I gave myself a chance to be that person who was 10 pounds lighter or whatever. And I didn't do it. It wasn't as easy as I thought. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't whatever reasons. Allow yourself that opportunity, but also don't beat yourself up. And every time you open up your closet, you're like, oh, great, there's clothes I don't fit into again. There's that. Just wanted to help. Okay. Let me see. All right, I'm kind of going backwards here, so I'm missing some threads, so I'm going to scroll ahead. I like to keep up with everybody. Here's a couple of other things, too, I want to offer, just because I love being on TikTok, but there are a wicked lot of people here, and I love that because it makes me know that what I'm doing is important, and that's why I show up at like freaking 8 o'clock in the morning after I just got home from a whole bunch of travel. I enjoy doing this. If I somehow miss your question, because these things scroll past me like you wouldn't believe, and I endeavor to answer them all. If I don't, if you like my page, I believe you're able to send me like a message. And when you send me a message, just say, hey, this was my question. I can make a video and answer your question. Okay. So where do we go? All right. And somebody mentioned, and I kind of missed the whole thing. I feel so abnormal. Shit shouldn't be this hard. It isn't. You know what? If you don't know how to do something, everything is, that thing is hard. If you don't know how to drive a car, driving a car is hard. But once you learn it, you know how to drive a car. I take the drama out of it. Like beating yourself up and saying, I feel stupid, this shouldn't be hard. That is a useful waste. That is a useless waste. That is a waste of energy. That is a waste of precious energy. You know what it's like to not have energy to do anything. When you beat yourself up, you're just wasting your energy and you're not getting any good result. You're actually getting a crappy result because you're making yourself feel like crap. Okay? I can help you guys. I'm in my 50s too. Many of us were not trained to do this. Okay. There's so many ways to do this. Should I just take it all away and then put back what I want to keep? Here's how I do it. Okay. So you guys, simple thing about any kind of decluttering, any kind. This is going to help with surface, stored, and sentimental. The word is categorizing. Categories. Okay. So think about all your stuff, and there's going to be categories. There's going to be categories of your clothes. There's going to be summer clothes, winter clothes. There's going to be Clothes that I fit into that I love to wear. There's going to be clothes that I fit into that I don't love to wear. There's going to be clothes that I don't fit into that I want to get back into. There's going to be clothes that, I fit into, but they're falling apart, whatever. There's going to be paperwork. There's going to be bills to be paid. There's going to be bills that unpaid that are going to be categorizing. Think about the categories, because when you make decisions, this is a thing, you guys, decision fatigue is real. And this is an overwhelming thing because it expends your energy. When you are making decisions, every time, even just in a day, in your day, every time you make a decision, your energy, your kind of your gas tank, okay? Again, the car metaphor, you guys. I know I'm American, but it freaking works. We are a car-based society, but think about it. Think about every time you make a decision, like the gas gauge on your energy goes down throughout the day, every day. So think about making the most of your decision-making energy, and categorizing is a game changer. Because if you think about it, okay, you've got 50 pieces of clothing. If you had to make an individual decision about each one of those, like, okay, what should I do with this? I don't know, whatever. That's 50 little chicks on the thing. But if you say, okay, really quickly, high level, decisions that are like the high level categorizing is not really decision making. It's like, okay, so these are the ones I don't wear. These are the ones I do wear. These are the ones for the winter. These are the ones that I don't, whatever. Then you make a decision that fits that entire category. So instead of making 50 different decisions, you make 5 decisions. And then you have a lot more energy. Okay, so categorizing is going to save you. Okay? What else do we have here? La la la, la la la. Spider-Man. See, I'm going to start humming stuff to myself. Oh my God, I do it, you guys. It's just my thing. Actually, I realized, and one of my current clients said she started doing it too, and she hadn't even become a client. It was because she was listening to these, my TikTok lives, and I realized some of my, what is it, like the incidental music, like on a game show, I think I'm humming, what do you call it? Price is Right from like the 1970s, all right, what do we get? It helps me lately to ask our kids what they'd actually want when we're not around. Not much. Kathy Mormon, love it. It's so true. Let's break this cycle, okay? Let's be the ones who like, we're already, I don't know about you, but I had to deal with my parents' stuff, right? My parents not knowing how to deal with their stuff. I'm still dealing with, my dad has passed, but my mother has a ton of stuff. So I have to get really clear on what do I want of hers? How do I handle it when she's no longer here? Because she's not changing. I've tried. She ain't changing. She doesn't want to. It's fine. It's up to her. I don't, whatever. But what I do is I make a decision that's going to be right for me for when she's gone. But I also know that when I look down, again, in that kind of, rear view mirror and all that, when I look down to the next generation for my nieces and nephews, I don't want them feeling like I do. I don't want them burdened by stuff. I want to break that chain. I want them to be like, yeah, no, I'm good. You know what I want them to remember me about? I want them to have good memories of adventures and having fun and going off and doing things. And I want them to remember my encouraging spirit. I want them to not remember me because of like a box of, china or silverware. I want them to be using my encouragement and boldness to do things in their world and have their lives turn out great because I encouraged them, much like I'm encouraging you. That to me would be so much better. The stuff that means a lot to me, the stuff that means a lot to you, doesn't mean as much to anybody else on the planet. It doesn't. So I'm cool with this being my stuff, but I'm also not going to guilt them into it. But, Auntie so-and-so really liked it. That's a crappy thing to do. All right? Ooh, a whole bunch of flurries just came in. It's flurrying out, you guys. Actually, it's finally nice. Came in a good decision. The energy expanded for every decision. Okay, yes, I will do that. So let me write that down. I will say energy. And actually, you know what you can do too before I do that, or while I do that, is decision fatigue. Google decision fatigue, because that's what it is. And we all know that. You're like, you start out strong. You're like, this is great. By the end of the day, you're like, oh my God, I don't care. It's like starting a diet in the morning. You're great, and by the time you're exhausted, you're like, oh, just give me, like a candy bar for energy. So yes, a decision fatigue video. You asked for it, you got it. Okay, yeah. Sorry about the Spider-Man. It's a clever tune, though. It is. It's a good one. Do it afraid has helped me. Anxiety and panic attacks. Okay, I'm glad you're finding stuff. Great article. Your kids don't want your old brown couch. It's so true. My dad just cleared out the entire house without even asking, so I have no... Well, there you go. That's one way of doing it, you know? Here's a funny thing. This is the important thing about how having decluttering be like a family process is, yeah, I get this. Here's the funny thing. So my mother, she's not on TikTok. My sisters are, and they will totally be like, oh, yeah, it's totally true. My mother is surrounded by clutter. And inevitably, anytime she decides to clutter, she doesn't make good decisions about it. She thinks she is, but she's getting rid of stuff that we think is good, and she's keeping crap. So that's why it's important to, if you are decluttering your home and you're thinking of this stuff, if you think you're going to have anybody who wants any of your stuff, ask your family first. Ask them, do you want any of my stuff? And if they say yes, give it to them now, unless you're using it actively. But if they say no, now you're going to feel a lot better about getting rid of stuff. But you know that feeling when somebody declutters at you or declutters you, is they don't know the stories that you have about the stuff, about your things, you know? So yeah, how do I spread this message to your mom? It's kind of hard to change other people. What I want to offer is, if your mom's on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, just show her. This is the thing I love about me showing up randomly. I'm not randomly, because when I do these TikTok lives and Facebook lives and all that, I always post a video with the schedule on it. So like if you go to my TikTok page and like it, please, there'll be a pinned post that shows when I'm going to be up next time. It's going to be Friday. And then next week I'll do one. Is let the fact that you listened to me today be a conversation starter with the person who has the clutter. And you can say something as easy as, you know, it's kind of crazy. I was on TikTok this morning and this woman was talking about clutter, and she said, you know, something, whatever it is that your person, you know, say, would you like some help with your clutter? Come from a place of love. Come from a place of curiosity, you know? And if they say yes, help them. But it took my mother like 5 years for her to admit she needed help. I helped her for almost 1.5 years, but I did it for her. And now she's still cluttered, but I love her anyway, you know? So do this. How can I do this when my partner hoards instead of supporting my clutter clearing efforts? Okay, Melanie, and everybody who isn't just living with the person being the clutter person as themselves, is realize that all of us have a story about stuff, a stuff story. So you have a story about what's important to you, that's what's good stuff, what's clutter. You know, George Carlin, you know, my stuff is good stuff, your stuff is crap. Your partner has a story about stuff that causes them to hoard. So I would say this with everybody, like, you know, maybe it's just habits. Maybe they grew up with, you know, not a lot. Maybe they feel like it shows who they are by the stuff that they own. I mean, we've been taught that by society, right? You know, person with the most toys wins and all that, fancy cars and all that bullshit. What I want to offer is, with curiosity and love, get curious about ask them what their story is. They may not even know it. I barely knew it. We're all learning this. But say, you know what? I saw this woman on TikTok today, and she said, people have a stuff story. I'm curious. Why do you hang on to so much stuff? And here's where it gets tricky. And I mean, I've been married. Actually, tomorrow's my wedding anniversary. Yay! For over 20 years now. And I realize, and I'm sure you do too, that depending upon the tone of voice and the way the words that are used, you're going to get a different response from somebody. Like the basic sentiment behind, why do you keep all this crap? And I'm really curious, like what's making you hang on to this stuff? Same basic question, but tone and words makes a whole difference. So come at it with love and compassion and curiosity for the other person, but also everybody who's right here now struggling with clutter and stuff, ask yourself these questions to yourself with love and curiosity and compassion for yourself. Say, yeah, why is it so hard for me to let go of things that I own, that I bought? What is the story behind that? What is the thought behind that? And then get quiet and listen for the answer. Ask yourself the question with love and curiosity, because you're worth figuring it out. Because when you figure it out, it's going to free you from it. You know, you can do something different with that knowledge. Knowledge is power, Schoolhouse Rock and all that, right? when you know that, when you know more about yourself, you're able to make more powerful decisions that make you feel better, that are going to get you to live that life. But if you keep on ignoring those thoughts and be like, no, 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 it's just about this, it's just about this. If you keep on ignoring that, you're going to be pretty much in the same loop over here, kind of stuck in the same spot. Okay? I just want to offer that. Okay? Yeah. Why keep my 24-year-old's elementary art? Yeah, I don't know, Katie, why? But what I want to offer is ask them if they want it. Your 24-year-old, do they want their elementary school art? Maybe you can go through it with them together and have a really cool like bonding experience, because you're walking down memory lane about the time that they, that they made that finger paints or something like that. What's with people who don't have a lot of stuff but never put it away? You know what it is they have habits. Their habit is, I don't put my stuff away. I put it down. I don't put it away. That's all. It's just a habit. You get into the habit of putting things in a certain place. The good news is about that you can get yourself into the habit of putting it in a different place if you choose to do so. And that's where it's repetition. Okay, see, I usually see value in all things. I do too. I see possibility. I see potential in many things and many people. But I also know that I don't have to be the person that brings it to its full potential. I can give it away to somebody else who's going to need it. Like, I see potential in a rice cooker, but I only cook so much rice. So I will give that rice cooker away to somebody who cooks rice all the time for their family, right? Do we empty entire clothes closets and go from there? No, there's certain ways. I would say this. It really depends how much time you have, how much energy you have. What I don't want you to do is create another big mess. There is a mantra in my decluttering that says it is going to look temporarily worse before it looks permanently better. But there is a certain skill to doing this, So I would say this. It's like, don't overwhelm yourself and then run out of time and be like, oh, I made such a worse mess, I'm not going to show up again. Okay? So just as a heads up, everybody, I've got like literally 3 minutes here because I got to sign off because I've got a heavy day of coaching and consultations. There's another thing I want to mention too is, so Destination Decluttered. If you could, I think this would help you if you're getting anything out of what we're doing here, is my TikTok page. If you could like it. The reason I ask you that is that when TikTok, it helps the TikTok algorithm to get my word out to more people. Also, when you follow me, you will be notified when I go live. I also notify you because I pin a post on the top of my TikTok page that says when I'm going to be there. Like on Friday, I'm going to be showing up, I think at 9 a.m. I'll have to check it myself, right? The other thing too is for people that that are cluttered, that aren't on TikTok. I also show up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live. Okay, I also post any of the videos that I post here, I post there too. So you can direct them to that. Like on Friday, I will also go from TikTok Live to Facebook Live, and I will show up in those different places. The other thing too is I see a couple of folks have signed up for my email mailing list. I forgot to mention that when you do that, you will get sent a habit tracker that I use. I will admit that I created. It helps you with your habits. I haven't used mine recently because I was gone for like 2 weeks traveling, basically. But you get one of those free, and then also you get an invitation to the monthly Zoom call just for the people on my mailing list. What else? Oh, one-on-one coaching. I do one-on-one coaching with clients, one-on-one on Zoom for an hour a week for 10-week sessions. If you're interested in that, you can sign up for a consultation on my website, destinationdecluttered.com. I got to honestly check to make sure my calendar is not hinky. But if you do that, if you can't get in touch with that, if it isn't working for you, drop me a message here on where am I? TikTok, and help you out with that. And just remember, everybody, as we're signing off here, remember, you are worth taking the time to figure out what you want your life to look and feel like. And what I want to offer is you can do this. And it's so much better when you do it yourself. The decluttering, the sense of pride, the accomplishment, the decision-making skill, the muscle you build in knowing what you want in your life and what you don't. That's wicked important. Oh, thank you. Paulette was asking, how do you sign up for my email list? Go to my website. I'm such a goof. I totally forgot to tell you how to do that. If you go to my TikTok page, there's a links page. You can do that, or just go to destinationdecluttered.com, and there's a place that says join, sign up for my mailing list. Okay. I will see you all on Friday. Okay. Bye.